Tarot Tribe, it's Ethany. I got my warrior woman makeup on. I'm wearing my MAC red today, feeling very Glamazonian. So today we're not talking about makeup. Today we're talking about creating narratives in a tarot reading. So this was a video request for a Tarot Readers Academy student who asked about the ways that she can gain more confidence in creating a narrative in her tarot readings rather than just looking at each individual card and rather than just solely looking at the your spread and things like that. So basically piecing it all together. So the first thing I wanted to cover off with you is that this is something that can take some time. Some people are total naturals when it comes to talking, writing, and seeing stories and images. Other people can really struggle with it. So please don't feel like you're a failure as a tarot reading if this is something that you haven't aced yet. So I thought the best way to learn how to weave narrative into your tarot readings, beyond a lot of the content that I have in the Tarot Readers Certification course, would be to create something that forces you to be in story mode. So I've created a story tarot spread where the whole idea and the whole concept of any readings that you do with this spread is that you're turning your reading into a creative story. Your querent, whether that's yourself or someone you're reading for or someone that you completely make up, is a main protagonist, and the rest of the tarot spread has the elements of the story for you to consider. And even better, with this spread, you don't even need a querent. There is a position in this spread that gives you everything that you need to create your own protagonist. I have also created a worksheet for you with the Story Tarot spread where you can write down your own cards, and then there's also some questions for you to run through and also an area where you can write out your story, which is so cool. So make sure you go and click on that and download your free worksheet, and I'll put the link to that below. So I am going to do a run through of this as an example. So I'm going to be switching cameras soon and we're going to take a look at how you can do this. And for this exercise, you really don't need a question in mind. As you mentioned, you don't even need to be reading for somebody else, okay? The cards are going to give you all that you need. So I suggest, as always, to use a tarot deck with imagery that engages you. We are in story mode, okay? So any tarot deck that you use should be something that you really love and rate. You can use anything. You can use very minimalistic decks, very abstract decks, very illustrated decks, decks with animals, people, symbols, I don't care. Like whatever speaks to you, that's the perfect deck for you. But when you're talking about creating a story, at least give yourself enough visuals in the deck that you choose to make this wholeheartedly enough for you, make it engaging for you, make it inspiring for you, and so it gives you enough to kind of bounce off of. You need to collaborate with your deck in this exercise. As I mentioned before, I teach and I initially learned the tarot with decks that were Rider-Waite-Smith inspired decks. They have a lot of visual cues there for you to read off of. And just in case this is your first video of mine that you've seen, hello there, I'm going to give you 3 suggestions, because if I go over 3, I could be here all day, for you to look at. So the first one is any of the Rider-Waite-Smith decks, so like the Radiant Rider-Waite or the original Rider-Waite, the commemorative Rider-Waite, the universal Rider-Waite, any of those sorts of decks are perfect. If it has Rider-Waite-Smith in it, then you're probably on the right track. The second recommendation I have is the Spiral Tarot. So this was my first real learning tarot deck, and I talk about this in 31 Days of Tarot and in Tarot Essentials as well. And the third deck is one of my all-time favorites, the Druidcraft Tarot. So all 3 of those have a lot of people imagery in there. There's also animals, there's also action. There's a lot for you to engage with this exercise. But please do go with whatever deck you like and try it out with different ones. One of the really cool things about tarot, and there's a million cool things about the tarot, is that every deck that you have has a specific personality, will give you a specific type of reading, will engage you in a different way, because that's how art works, that's how symbols work. So try it with a few and see if the outcomes are more alive for you, what reactions you have, what kind of protagonists your decks give you as well. So I'm going to switch cameras now, and I will see you on the flip side. Hi loves, so now I've moved to my reading cloth, and I've got my tarot deck out for this this exercise, and I'm using, no surprises, I'm using the Morgan Greer Tarot because it has a lot of people in it. It's one of my all-time favorites. It's one of my decks that I read with on a daily basis, so I'm going to use that. I've also printed off the worksheet. Yours won't look that orange. My printer is currently gasping for some turquoise, or that color, the blue one, ink, so I need to get that done, but I haven't done it yet. So it looks great. This doesn't look, it looks prettier if you print it off. So let's have a look at the tarot spread itself. So this is the Story Tarot spread. We're going to look at, number one is the main protagonist, which be in place of your significator. Number two is the protagonist's challenge. So what is in the way of the protagonist? Number three is the opportunity. So what is the opportunity presented to the protagonist? Number four is the environment that the story takes place in. So this is also a wonderful way to use the tarot to connect to an energy around your clients or careers for the future as well. Number five is the reward. So what is the end goal of the story or slash protagonist? And then number six is what is the outcome? So what does the future hold for our protagonist? So I'm going to do this spread first, and then we'll move on to the rest of the actual worksheet. So I've already shuffled my deck. I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time shuffling the cards because nobody really wants to see that. It can be soothing, but you're not here for this. So number one, got that one down. Oh, I just want to make sure you can see it because, right, number one. Oh, right off the bat, we have two very opposing forces, which is amazing. And you saw I shuffled this. So number three. I'm getting better at making sure you can see everything in this. So it may not be all that easy. I mean, I don't know if this is just me, but I sort of look at it and go, there's a very clear story here, but I have been reading for a eon. So don't feel terrible if you still look at this and think, oh my gosh. So our first section is, our main protagonist is the Ten of Pentacles, and I would see that as a family person. So we can see this as, you want to make this up, folks. This is storytelling. It can be anything. It can be a family wombat for all I care. Just get your imagination going. Make it something you really like. Is it a family of unicorns? Is it a family of bunny rabbits? Is it a family of stormtroopers? I really don't care. Just as long as it's something that you are engaged in and you really, really like. So this is a family, I'm going to say elves. I'm going to go with my geeky side and just go elves. So this is a family of elves. And the main protagonist is going to be the eldest daughter in the elf family. So I've chosen family member or a family as what this main protagonist is interested in, because that is linked to the meaning of the Ten of Pentacles. And I have another video called 6 Ways to Read a Tarot Card, because if you don't know the meanings by rote, or if you don't know them by memory, you can also look at the picture there, and there's two people, so just pick one of those people in the picture. The protagonist's challenge, for me, this is very quick for me. It's they've lost all their money, they've lost their house, So how can we delve into that a little bit more? So they lost their house because someone else invaded their land. I know it's not the most original story, but that's not the point. And then the opportunity for the protagonist is to fight for what she wants and what she believes in, and get her family's possessions back and get their home back. And I see this as picking up arms. You can see the swords crossing over. She now has to fight. She was a peaceful elf and now she's not a peaceful elf. She's going to defend her family and take up those swords, and she feels like there's really no other option, which is also linked to the Two of Swords as a card meaning. And then 4, the environment in which this takes place, this is also a wonderful way to use as an energy, is the Queen of Cups. Interesting. So you can literally, don't overthink this, okay? First of all, the court cards can be quite tricky, but this is a creative writing, a creative outlet for you to grow and flex your tool, your tarot tools here. My goodness. So I'm going to say this takes place in a shore, like they're along the beach. They live close to the water and are close to the beach. It's been an ancestral house that's been passed down from generation to generation, which I did say wood elf, but we're shifting it. We can edit. So this battle is going to take place on a beach. Chosen that because of the shells and the woman's hair. Really, it can be that simple. And then the 5th, the reward, the Wheel of Fortune. The fortunes are going to change. She's going to change her family's fortune. She's going to change what's happened and all this karma, because remember the karma is linked to this Wheel of Fortune card as well. And then the outcome, what a great card to have, the 7 of Pentacles, which is also about reaping what you sow and auditing and choosing wisely in your investments. But in here, she's backed the right pony. She's going to get she's going to win the house back. So I have, if that's not as easy for you to do, I'm going to do another one, and then I'm going to take you through the actual questions so we can have a look and dissect it a little bit. So I'm going to quickly, I'm not even going to shuffle, I'm just going to put 6 more cards down. These are really good for storytelling. Whoops, hang on, that goes over here. Can you see them all? Yep. Cool. All right, so in the last one, we didn't have any major arcana, but now we do. And in the last one, we had a court card, and here we don't. So the first thing to look at for the questions, so we're kind of ignoring this now. We've run through this once, so I'm going to take you through to page 2, which are the questions. So what is there a lot of in this reading? So there's a lot of major arcana. Like half of the cards are major arcana. So this is a big story. This is a big quest, or a big part of the protagonist's life, a big chunk of a very important thing. There's no court cards, there's not a lot of other people, it's a bit of a solo quest, and there's a couple of swords there. So it's a very, we'll say it's a very challenging mentally, it's a mental challenge, it's a way of beliefs, it's a way of challenging beliefs too, which also judgment and justice also support that. And then what does the tarot reading actually look like? So if we have a look and step back, so here I want you to zoom out and take a look at the aesthetic of the reading. What does it actually look like? Are there peoples in the cards? Are they turning to each other or looking away? Is there an imagery theme or a ton of color, and does it mean anything to you? This is all in the worksheet, okay? So you don't need to stop the video and record all those questions down. It's all in the worksheet for you. So here we got a lot of yellow and a lot of gray blues. Can we all see that? Yeah. The 2 hooded characters, which is our main protagonist, there's actually 3 hooded characters here. Lots of cloaks and daggers in this. A lot of hiding away and looking down. They're all 3 of them looking down. The Hermit, the 5 of Swords, and the 6 of Swords. So these are things that doing things like this helps you start to cue your mind and train your mind as that muscle to look for things like this in a reading when it's not just storytelling time. Does the tarot reading support the situation or oppose the situation? So here we would kind of jump back to the spread and have a look at the challenge of the main protagonist and the reward and the outcome. So we've got a hermit as the main protagonist, who for me the challenge is has lost love, needs to find love again, has been away from the world for so long, needs to come back. So the reward is 5 of Swords, not very nice. maybe it's winning that bag, maybe I'm winning the battle, because that's a part of the Five of Swords too, being the victor. And all the responsibilities and energy that comes from being the victor in something. And then the outcome is moving across water and moving away. So maybe this person moves towards people. So does this reading support the situation or not? Is the reading cheering for cheering for our hermit there to find this love again, or is it kind of opposing it? And from the Judgment, the Justice, and the 5 and the 6, I'm saying it's kind of going against it. So this doesn't look like it's going to be an easy ride for our hero. And what is going on in the reading? Does it make you feel happy, and would you want to be in it? Not really. So there's another thing too. You can start putting your compassion in place of your querying, in place of this story. So all of these questions are in the worksheet, so you don't have to worry about going through it. And I put space as well so that you can write down your initial findings when you're doing it. And then the final bit is a once upon a time page where you can write your story. So we've put our cards out, we've taken a look, we've gone through our questions, and now we're going to write our story, which is once upon a time there was a lonely hermit, and he went away from the world because his heart was broken in the past. And after years and years of being on his own, he decided that he wanted to feel love again. He had a vision, a prophecy, which showed his cup overflowing and showed him being connected to people again. And he thought, I need this in my life. And he felt it in such a way, he woke up and there were tears in his eyes. So he went off to look for love again, to find love again, and that connection with people. And the opportunity that was there for our hermit is to drop the judgments that he has of himself, of his past, of the person who hurt him and drove him away from society in the first place. And also to become a more compassionate person and be a less critical person when it comes to love and relationships. The environment that this takes place in is a very analytical world. The hermit comes into the world here, which is justice, and finds it's a very mentally stimulated world. Not a lot of people are grounded, not a lot of people are feeling. So there's a real challenge there for this hermit to then find people who are of like mind as well. And like soul, really, because this is a love journey. The reward that the hermit is seeking is that engagement again with people. Hell, he'll be even happy to fight. High five. To fight again, to feel that passion again, if only he could connect with someone. And the outcome is that he realizes that he needs to travel further, and not on his own, with someone else. He needs to find people and connect again, but he needs to move away from this environment because it's not going to support him finding this Ace of Cups and him finding that Grail. So then he moves away. So that is the outcome. So that hermit is still on a journey, and that's cool too, because not all tarot readings are tied up nicely in a little bow that says you will have a puppy next week. That's just not the way it goes. I made all that up on the spot. It may not be the most perfect story in the entire universe, but this can really help your tarot practice in regards to finding a way to read the cards, and less of, well, this card is the hermit and the hermit is in the, that's you, you're the hermit there, and that means you're withdrawing from people, and this is your challenge is that you're disconnected. So I still said that, I just said it in a way that is more narrative. So you're piecing it all together so it is a more cohesive way for people to have a tarot reading with you and place themselves in the reading. That's another one of the beautiful gifts of a more narrative way of reading the tarot. So I hope you liked this video. As I mentioned before, check out the link to go get your free worksheet. And thank you so very much as always for watching.